What's good, YouTube? Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to speak to the black community across the world, right? Because mainly I see some issues that have arrived or that just won't get solved unless something happens, right? So, us being black people, no matter where you are, we share a commonality in the way we are treated and looked at, right? Black Americans, our issues aren't getting resolved. People in South America, the black communities there, there's issues there. There's always colorism. You know, this goes to Africa, this goes to the UK for my black people over there, even to China and Russia, because we got black people all over the globe, right? Australia, you know what I'm saying, the islands, wherever that may be, you know, we're on every continent, right? And that's amazing because apart from those in Africa, we all share a common, like mainly for the North America, Middle America, South America, and Europe, right? There has been a common link of slavery that we have endured, right? And we can unify with that, right? We can come together. What we need to do is we need to come together and create a bond on that shared experience. And we have genetic relationships with those in West Africa. See, us in Americas and dispersed, we don't have anybody, we don't have no home to go back to. We're strung out everywhere, yet we have that commonality of slavery, right? And what we can do is we can come together and unite for the betterment of our people across the globe. We don't know exactly where we come from Africa. And Africa used to like migrate, and there was different tribes, and then, you know, everybody was split up into their little sections when it was colonized. You know, we don't have a central home to go back to, right? And so in that, we can make the world our home, housed in a common community unity, right? And if we do that, and we decide that no matter where we are, no matter what our cultural differences, no matter what our beliefs or our ideals, if we can come together, we can make an expansive home for ourselves no matter where we are. No matter where we go, we can fund ourselves, we can promote ourselves, we can become powerful in the aspect that we are the same people, right? And this isn't about prejudice or racism, because our enemy isn't another race. It's the fact that it's our division. We're too separate. We're too far apart. And we're in this section of the world, or in that section of the world, in this section of the world, and that section of the world. And we are all trying to gain or get a piece of the pie in whatever section of the world that is. But if we all linked up and we all said, hey, you know, for example, in America, right? There's an issue with crime rates in our communities, right? There's a wall that we can't get past, and we just don't need to keep going and getting stopped at that wall. We can go to another direction. We can go in another direction altogether. We don't need that wall no more. We don't need that path. We can make our own. We can forge our own. For so many years, we've been trying to, you know, make our school systems better, make our neighborhoods better, do all of this, that, and the third. And at every turn, we're blockaded, we're stopped. Every time we try to get a movement together to try to help our cause, we're stopped and we're blockaded. We're trying to get a piece of the American pie, and it's like, it's not all of the white folks or the different races in America. It's just that the ones on top happen to be white, and they like their status quo. We can't want that status quo no more. We gotta want it, and we gotta get it. And we can get it ourselves if we think smart. right? All we have to do is form relationships with each other from across the world. And if we can help each other in whatever areas, I mean, I don't know what's going on in South America. I know a little bit of what's going on in the islands, Africa, Europe. But I remember when the Black Lives Matter movement came across, people from every other country were getting involved, right? You had protests in every other country, and we need to keep that same energy. We need to keep that want for justice, that want for our people to prosper. And if we can make that, if we can build a culture based off of mutual respect, then like don't see me as the American black, right? But if you do, then respect me as an American black and my different trials and tribulations, just as I respect you as a British black or an African black or a South American black or wherever country you come from or whatever country you live in and you currently dwell, right? If we can just, create a culture that can cohesively be for the betterment of everywhere, then we can accomplish things, right? I mean, crime, murder, and death are all related to economic situations, right? We don't have a lot of money funneled into our school system. So if we can build schools, across America for black people and across South America for black people and Haiti and Britain, we can teach our kids a shared history. So then when we go and we travel to these different countries, we can have like, hey, that's my brother from that other nation. That's my brother from that other nation. You know what I'm saying? There's no division, only respect. And if we can build that, that's why, I mean, look at this. You know what I'm saying? Look at the African, but it's all modernized because we all come from a shared place, right? And, genetically, us and, West Africans? No, East Africans. Yeah, East Africans are different, right? But we still got that same skin tone. Look, cultural differences shouldn't really matter. Because if we can come together and I respect your culture, I want to learn more about it, and you respect my culture and where I've come from, then we can break down all these walls, and we can defeat this enemy of less than. Because for real, if you want to look at the world, right, you have essentially two parties and three ideals that rule the world at this point. Two parties, the European and the Asian parties. They're fighting for dominance or control or whatever they want to fight for. We ain't got to worry about that, right? That's their system. They're major players in their system. We're not trying to do any of that. But you see, we don't have a voice. Us as black people in the community, we don't have a voice on the global scale, right? So why? Because we don't have a home of origin and we don't have a economic status in the world. We're a marginalized group of people in sub-communities of a bigger picture. And we're not fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for whatever place we dwell in at the moment. The three ideals is you have America, Russia, and China. And but the marginalized people are black people all over the world, and it's not just us because colonialism has affected the South Americans, the natives of that land. It's affected the Arab continent. It has affected Africa because that's like neo-colonized. So you got all of these places that really don't have a voice. Arabs, they don't really have a voice. I mean, they're getting pimped out, to be quite honest. Like. Take that oil, cool, right? Africa, take those resources, cool, right? South America, they destabilized an entire country over fruit. I mean, like, it's so crazy. And so now you have all of these, like Indonesia, you got all of these impoverished countries, and you got all of these people who exist politically, but really don't play any role except supporting the major players, right? the fact that we are everywhere, and the fact that, you know, we can build upon a foundation of a shared history means that we can actually come together. We're in the greatest position to do this. It's amazing because if we did this right, and it became such a very stable thing, like we didn't let you know, anything divide us, and like if I could, you know, have like an embroidered thing that said that represented being black in America, and you could have embroidered thing saying black in Britain or black from Africa, you know, the motherland, or, you know what I'm saying? We could have this self-esteem that builds us and can translate into our communities. So now we're working towards a common goal. People in the hood in America, right? If we can show them that we can funnel money and build our own neighborhoods and not be dependent on these like jurisdictions or money getting funded by the government because they always want to keep us less than. I mean, you know, then they will grow up and be like, how can I contribute to the global family? You know what I'm saying? Nothing racist, nothing prejudiced. We don't, like, if we go in and say we've been less than and divided for too long, and say we just want a voice, we can do that. We have that power and that capability, and it's the best time to do it. And I won't get into why it's the best time to do it. But you see, the school systems, and I only know from an American perspective, but I know every nation has its own like skewed system to show its dominance, right? And that's faulty. But in America, they whitewash everything, and so what it does is a lot of Americans have this complex of white superiority and black inferiority, and it's not blatant, but it's all subconscious. We all go through this because now we associate success with European features, and that's an issue because there were a lot of great black people in the U.S., but we only cover a select few. And then when we go into history, into other nations, they depict everybody as white when it's so diverse. You know what I'm saying? So when you do that and you grow up and you don't have any in America, the school system is not teaching you culturally what advancements you've done in your people's past, right? And that just builds this very skewed view of who you are as a person when you grow up in this country. And you know, I'm thinking that this is a case for a lot of people in other countries too. And when we look at that, the media depicts us as all gangbangers, stupid, or just good at physical things, right? The entire world depicts us as just entertainment or trendsetters, but we're all giving that money to companies that we don't own. They're using us to boost the economy of their own system while not letting us prosper in that system, and we don't have to play that game anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really don't. Like, if they won't give us better schools, we can build our own better schools. We just have to unite. And it's not just it won't work if we try to just unite in America. Because then that will create a division for our people in other countries. You know what I'm saying? They'll still be struggling. They'll still be, you know, faced with that thing. But like back in the day, when if you look at things as like a tribal characteristics, right? That's all it is today. Tribes have just formed into nations with a caste system. That's every country, right? The dispersed blacks. We don't have a country. We have a continent we associate with like so many different diverse languages, dialects, and religions. And to pick a spot would be disingenuous to us as a whole. So what we have to do is we have to be in these countries, but we can be smart about it. We play the smart game and unite and not let any one of us from a different place fall down to the wayside. We have this ability, and I really hope that we can do something about this, because I was looking at some videos about some other people. It was about gypsies, right? And it was like there's like gypsies all spread out of Europe, and they're trying to like group up together in a common way, because they don't really have a set place where they exist, right? And they're trying to improve their image. And then there was this like one group of gypsies that didn't want to follow suit. And I was thinking to myself, these people are separated by borders, yet they still have a common heritage that they fight for, or they associate themselves with. But us, we just associate with each other in the same country. And that's not smart, because we are in a position that if we actually unified and linked up, we could change our situation across the globe. Because if you look at, English is one of the dominant languages, and this is a privilege, right? English is one of the dominant languages, and we speak English in America, right? But that means that we influence so much. We influence brands. We influence sports activity and attendance. We influence music to the point where, hip hop is like started in America and is now in like every other country is doing their own little tang with it. And I love that diversity. We keep that diversity. Like when we link up, like keep your British accent. You know what I'm saying? When we link up, keep your South American accent, your distinct accent. But like that mutual respect, that's my brother from over across the water. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother down south. And if we like had this, like if we created insignias, it would bond us to be like, yes, we can do better. Yes, we're gonna do better. Yes, it's almost like establishing treaties, but it doesn't need to involve like the political negotiations of an actual nation. We just come under a banner and we unite and we find our success in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about funding each other, building cities, hubs, of black excellence so we can explore, having better relations so that we can, go to different countries and experience your culture, and you can experience ours, and just have a distinct us in whatever country we go to. And, when we increase the schools, because the school system doesn't teach you everything you need to know, and it's faulty. But if we designed an education system and designed a family system centered around teaching our culture, you know what I'm saying? It would mold these people into being excellent, right? And then we could have, in our distinct little cities across the globe, right? We could have medical centers, you know what I'm saying? We could have institutions, colleges and stuff like that. We already got those like HBCU, historically black colleges in America. But to have them all linked up and just revamp the entire education system and, become the best that we can and always support each other in all these different countries, it would build a network that would just shoot us to the stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would be incredible. You know what I'm saying? Going to cities that our people have built in South America or the islands, or getting a land space in Europe somewhere and our people are there, or going into Africa and building up infrastructure, because we need infrastructure in our neighborhoods here, and Canada. You know what I'm saying? It's just an amazing thing if we could unite, because we're everywhere. That means we have access to so much diverse knowledge. And the thing is, we don't see each other as related, as family. But if we did, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to speak about. I have so many more ideas, but I just want that to be out there, that there needs to be we can't, just because this nation, America, should help us out of this economic quarrel we're in, doesn't mean that they will. We've been trying that game for too long. It's not gonna work. And it's probably not gonna work in whatever country you're in if you're in a different nation, right? Because they're always gonna have that caste system. They're always gonna have that wall. And once you make it, you kind of disassociate yourself with the people that you were, because now the higher the ladder you go, the less of you see. You know what I'm saying? So now your interest is not for the people, it's more so for the rich colleagues that you have now, or the wealthy colleagues, or the influential ones. And you leave your other people to the wayside. We can't do that. What these gypsies did, it really inspired me, because it just amazed me. And I've been looking at other cultures, like the Jewish culture. Every day they have like a moment where the father imparts knowledge. I think a lot of the times this work system that we have, we could revamp that too, because you spend so much time outside of your family. Your kids, like an elephant. It has to be raised closely by its parents. You know what I'm saying? You see all of these animals that get the time and are actually feeding, good things into their offspring. But like, we're so focused on the money thing, right? And we're not making good kids. We're not making smart kids, right? Because we think that we need to. We've lost sight of what it means to be successful. Because now we're chasing the dollar, and if I could just provide my kids whatever technologies or fancy things they do, you know what I'm saying? That's not smart. That's not intelligent. Because now your kids are being raised by the streets, or they're being raised by the media. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna get us nowhere. The only place in America that black people see themselves is in sports and rapping. That's it. And it's sad. So my main point, right, is that we need to revamp the whole system. We don't have to do it their way. We can make a new way. Why are we okay with the status quo when we don't have to be? The status quo has never worked for us. That means that we have to do something different. Stop trying to climb over that wall. You ain't getting there. You know what I'm saying? Like, only one person might get over there, a couple few, and then you don't see them no more. But if we culturally make this glue to bond us, no matter your success, you're still speaking to your other people. You're still speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we have to do. That's where we have to go. We can't wait for any other people to do it, because any issue is only going to be spearheaded and continued by the people it directly affects. It doesn't directly affect them. You know what I'm saying? like systemic racism, right? Like, I'm not even gonna get into that. Because it's just crazy. But they'll think about it, and then it'll just leave them, and we won't get no resolution. We've been waiting for resolution for how long? Well, let's just play smart. Not aggravated, not angry, not mad. But if we can connect and we can work together, we won't need them to better ourselves. We can better ourselves by our actions. But that starts, we have to do it globally. We have to do it universally. We have to connect. And this is not to throw any shade to any people. I'm not racist, not prejudiced. But I feel like a lot of the times when black people say these things, white people in America think that, we're trying to implement segregation again. And that's not the case. The thing is, there's already a type of segregation, and it's just legal because it's an economic one. And every time we try to do something different, we're just not included. And so we have to make our own little thing. Because you don't care as much as we care. And so we have to care enough and show that care to our own people. Not to say that you hate us, not to say that you think less of us. You might, some subconsciously. You know, there is that little, America, whites and blacks have a complex in America. And that's just built upon how this nation was formed. The only way we can change that narrative is if that we unite and we actually build each other up and not keep breaking each other down. You know, gangs, right? It's nothing but tribalism on a smaller scale. You got two neighborhoods that are divided by one street, and we're killing each other out here in these neighborhoods. But yet everybody wants to play drill music. And now drill music's out in Britain, you know what I'm saying, the UK. Or it started in the UK, I don't know which one, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these neighborhoods just yelling at each other and mad at each other for what? You know, say y'all the same people. I could say that, you know, till I'm blue in the face, right? Doesn't matter. But if we have a culture that is designed to say, hey, that's my brother, and then look at the accomplishments of my brother across the seas, and then look at the shared history, then we change the narrative. Then we start investing in our own, instead of like Nike or whatever. You know, saying now the rappers out here, now the influential ball players and all these people can now support their own people. And now, and because we set trends, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it would just explode, right? It would just magnify our influence and our voice and our, you know, collective culture, and we'll be in a whole better position if we just worry about everybody. I'm sorry it took so long, but I have a whole bunch of ideas. But yeah, it'll take a lot of teamwork. So hey, love y'all. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll see you again. Hey, subscribe. You know, like helps the algorithm. You know, sometimes people just look at stuff, but like if you want this to get out there, if you support anything that I've done, right? Please help me to get this out to everybody else. All right, go. Love y'all.